Hi everyone, it's Claudia, and welcome to Take a Moment to ... And that represents the topic that I bring to you each and every day, which I hope will give you pause to stop and think about what I'm saying and maybe even give a different perspective on that very topic. Today is take a moment to be discreet. That is something that I feel is a personality trait that we've lost. To be discreet means to basically be a safe person to be around, someone we can trust, someone who is sober-minded and cautious and doesn't go out blabbing about confidences and stuff, someone that we can trust our confidences with, someone we can trust, someone who is sober-minded and is not rash. How many of those people do we actually know in our lives? I'd say not many. I can speak for myself. So today I want to use scripture about Joseph. But there are two accounts in Genesis with Joseph that I want to reference. The first is when Joseph was sold into slavery by his brothers. And he was sold into Egypt, and he was a servant in the house of Potiphar, who was an official in Pharaoh's court. And Pharaoh really appreciated the servanthood of Joseph. He was very diligent in his work, and he was a faithful servant. But Potiphar's wife was not exactly a good character, and she had the hots for Joseph, and she tried to seduce him. But Joseph wanted no part of it, and what he did, he fled. He fled the temptation. And a woman scorned is not exactly a pleasant thing, so she was not happy, and she accused Joseph of trying to accost her. Potiphar basically knew what happened, but he had to deal with his position and his wife's account. So Joseph was charged and he was put into prison. And he was in prison for 14 years. And how many of us have been wrongly accused of things and are suffering a consequence of things we didn't deserve? There were two individuals in the prison that got out before Joseph, and he asked that they remember him, but they did not until a couple of years later when Pharaoh had two dreams and his advisors could not interpret those dreams. And then Joseph was remembered and Pharaoh sent for him. And Joseph, seeking the Lord, he was not puffed up like, oh, Pharaoh's calling on me to interpret these dreams. No, not at all. He was not puffed up. He sought the Lord in interpreting Pharaoh's dreams. And he did so, and they resonated with Pharaoh. But what Pharaoh noticed about Joseph, he was wise, but he was also temperate. He was not puffed up. He was sober-minded, and he was someone who was wise. And with that, Pharaoh elevated Joseph to be second in command over Egypt. Now, Joseph was a Hebrew, and this was Egypt. And he was elevated to second in command to Pharaoh. And what he said went. And Joseph's wisdom and the interpretation of the dreams spared Egypt from 7 years of severe famine. They were able to prepare. So that account is someone using discretion, someone being discreet, someone who can be trusted. And in Genesis chapter 41 through 39, it says, and Pharaoh said unto Joseph, for as much as God hath showed thee all this, there is none so discreet as wise as thou art. I'm taking it from the King James Version. And then in Proverbs 2:11, discretion shall prosper them, understanding shall keep them. When we are discreet, we prosper. We are preserved. We are able to use the wisdom given to us by God. So today, I earnestly declare and decree that we use discretion in the way we approach lives and issues. So today, take a moment to be discreet.